Okay, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is the third time I had to record this because for some reason my camera keeps turning off randomly. So hopefully I can get through it this time. But today I'm going to be talking about how much it costs to get started drop shipping on Amazon. So I had a couple friends ask me because they kind of wanted to get into it. One of them has already drop shipped on eBay and the other one is brand new. So definitely their first question is like, how much is it going to cost to get started? How much are they going to have to throw down in the beginning, and how much basically will you have to spend per month, right? So pretty common question, something everyone asks when they first get started. So there's basically three things that you need when you get started. So the first one is going to be an Amazon Seller Central Pro seller account, basically like the pro selling account. And that's going to be $40 a month. So this is something that you're going to need. There's no way around it. There's no cost saving on this. So $40 a month, Amazon Seller Pro account. You're going to need it. End of story. Now, the second thing you're going to need is, this is probably the most important thing. So when you first get started drop shipping on Amazon, you got to make sure that your metrics stay clean. You don't want your metrics to get messed up because Amazon will shut down your account. So you're going to need a software that's going to track your inventory and pricing. So basically, if you've never drop shipped on Amazon and maybe you're just thinking about getting into it right now, so basically what I mean with this is that you have a software and it's going to check on your source's website to see if it's in stock first, right? And then it tells Amazon, hey, in stock, let's sell the item. Now, if it goes out of stock on, like, let's say Walmart, it's going to check and it's going to see on Walmart that it's out of stock, and then it'll put it out of stock on Amazon. And then the same thing with price. You're going to have the software check the price on your supplier, and then whatever you want to set the percentage or whatever on Amazon, it's going to reprice the item. So there's two main softwares. First one is SKUGrid. Second one is WebScraper app. SKUGrid is the cheap option, bare bones. You're going to have more issues with it, not as good of customer service. It's going to be about $30 a month for that. So when you first get started, all you'll really need is like $70 if you go with SKUGrid. Now, I wouldn't suggest going with SKUGrid because it's just not reliable, and you're going to need to switch over to something like WebScraper app anyways. So I would say just save up a little bit more money and then spend that money on getting WebScraper app. I started with SKUGrid, but then I had a bunch of problems with it, and it just ended up being a hassle, so I had to move my items over to WebScraper app. And although it's easy to move the items over to WebScraper app, it was kind of a hassle, just because it's like, you don't even want to have to go through that, right? Like, if you're able to set everything up on WebScraper app from the beginning and then just start selling from there, then it's just going to make your life easier. And like I said, it's going to be more expensive, but it's going to be worth it. So WebScraper app is $120 a month for 500 items. Now, I do have a affiliate link which will give you a 30% discount. So if you, I'll put it right here, and then I'll also put it down in the description. So if you go to WebScraper app and sign up, you can put that in and get 30% off, and then I get a little commission from that. But yeah, so $120 for WebScraper app versus $30 for SKUGrid. You're also going to need something which is a repricer. So the repricer that I use is called Informed. So you can go to informed.co. I don't have an affiliate link or anything for this. This is just a repricer. So WebScraper app is going to take the price of the item from your supplier, and it's going to hold that price in WebScraper app, right? So let's say Walmart's selling it for like $100. So it's going to grab that price and hold it in WebScraper app. Then Informed is going to take that price from WebScraper app, and then it's going to reprice it in Amazon against your competition. So if you're on a listing with like 5 other people, and let's say that $100 item, you want to sell it for anywhere between $140 and $160, and the lowest price person in there is selling it for $150, then the repricer is going to try to beat that lowest price. And there's all these different types of settings. There's different ways to set it up, but that's basically that's just the basic gist of how the repricer works. They do have a couple options for Informed. The main option that I would suggest, though, is the $150 a month option, which gives you the ability to price things based off of like profit. So you can set however much tax you need to pay the supplier, and then your Amazon fees, and then the margin on top of that. And then you set like a price range, and like I said, it's going to reprice it based off of your competition. So $150 for that, $120, or I think it's going to end up being like $79 if you use my discount for the first month, and then $40 for the seller account. So let's see, I didn't add this up, but we got 40 plus, let's say 79 plus 150. And then also with Informed, you get I think it's 2-week trial. So if you can get a good amount of items up, honestly, like you can pay for your first month's expenses within the first month. There's a couple more things that I'll go over in a little while about making certain amount of money in the first month, but basically your beginning cost is going to be around $270. So $270, and then the following month will be a little bit more because the price for Web Scraper will go up a little bit. So let's see, let's add that in there. 120. All right, so about $300. So that's basically how much you're going to be paying every month if you have 500 items. Now, the price obviously goes up the more items you add, but if you're efficient with your items and you make sure you delete items that aren't selling and you delete items that are out of stock, then you can keep your number of items in your store low, and it'll keep your software cost low, right? So that's kind of the goal here with Amazon, and it makes things a lot more easier to manage. Like if you got 100 or if you got 500 items versus 5,000 items, it's gonna take a lot more effort from you. You're gonna have a lot more errors, and it's just gonna be an overall bigger hassle. Now, yeah, you're gonna make more money, possibly. I mean, I know people with less than 500 items who make more than people with 5,000 items. So it really just depends on how you manage your store, how you price things, and all that stuff. So $300 is basically what I would have set aside for each month, right? So $300 a month. I would say by your second month you should be making profit. It's relatively fast. It's not like how eBay is, where it takes a while, then it snowballs later on. Amazon is actually pretty quick. There are a couple of things to note though. So when you first sign up for your seller account, you're not going to be able to get the buy box for 90 days. So that's kind of an issue, as you can tell, because you're not going to get as many sales. But there's plenty of other items where there's no buy box, right? So you're on a listing that has only FBM sellers, which is like fulfilled by merchant sellers. So if you're on one of those listings, you have a higher chance of selling something as long as you can like price it pretty low. So you can still make sales, and you can still cover your costs within the first month if you really focus and do things correctly. So $300 for your first month, second, third, whatever, and then however many items you want to add to your store, your cost is going to go up basically. The last thing you need to know for the price of getting started is having a line of credit. So unlike eBay, where an order comes in and you get the money directly, on your PayPal right away, when it's Amazon, you get the money, but you don't actually get it into your account until the item gets shipped out. So once the item gets shipped out and you put the tracking number in there, then they release the funds in your account, on your Amazon account, not into your bank account. So you can get it on there, but then you got to request a transfer from Amazon, so that can take another like 3 days. So you're really not going to be getting your money for, I would say it ends up taking about two to 2.5 weeks for you to actually get your money. So if I got a payment today, that money was on like the pay period kind of thing, like the period of where I got that sale was probably like 2 weeks ago. So you do need to have like a line of credit. There's other things like payability, where you are going to have to pay like a 2% fee. But my suggestion would be, make sure that you have a line of credit. I would suggest $5,000 to $10,000 to start off. And the reason I suggest this amount is because you want your first month drop shipping on Amazon to be relatively low. You want to stay under the $10,000 in sales mark. So you're not really going to need that much credit when you're first starting out on the first month. And you're not going to get a ton of orders anyways, because like I said, you're going to get that new seller account, and then you're not going to have the buy box eligibility for 90 days anyway. So it's not like you're going to need like $50,000 worth of credit to start off. Another good thing with Amazon is that you have higher margins on Amazon. So eBay used to be really good margins, but they've kind of been chopped down with competition. But Amazon, I'm finding items sometimes with like 50% profit margins. So that's pretty insane, pretty crazy. And my suggestion to you would be, if you're just starting out, I would suggest find items with that really high profit margin, right? So sell items where you can get a high profit margin. And this means you're going to have a high amount of sales, but you're going to have a low cost. So you're not going to need as much credit. So you can still sell, like, let's say you sell 10,000 and you got all 50% margin. Like, you could be making bank off of $10,000 in sales if those items actually sell. But yeah, so I would suggest $5,000 to $10,000 in credit when you first start off. Now, if you need to use something like Payability, you can, but I would suggest in the beginning not to use Payability. One, because you got to learn it. And then two, you have to pay that 2%. And there's a bunch of other back-end stuff with Payability that is like a pain in the ass when you're first starting off. But if you have the ability to have that credit, just use the credit, and then you can pay the card back when you get the payment from Amazon. So just keep really good bookkeeping, and that's all you really need. So just to review, you need $40 for your Seller Central Pro account. And then you're gonna need, you could do SKU Grid, which is like $30 a month, but like I said, I wouldn't suggest it. I would just suggest saving a little bit more money before you get started. Web Scraper app is gonna be $120 a month, and then if you use the discount code that I have here or down in the description, you'll get 30% off, which would be about like $80 or so. And then you got Informed, which is $150 a month. And like I said, you get a 2-week free trial with that one. So if you get your items up and you get your store rolling, and you get things going, then I think that you can kind of recoup those costs in the beginning. But you're basically looking at around $270 to $300 a month when you're first starting off. And this will be, like I said, for about 500 items. But just take these first couple months to really just focus on understanding how Amazon works, because you don't want to get your account messed up and then have to appeal any type of like bad seller metrics or anything like that. Like, Amazon is way more strict than eBay, and you don't want to screw anything up on Amazon. So just take your time, go slow. You'll be surprised with how many items will get you. I mean, I have under 1,000 items in my store, and like, you can make so much money with just few items. Like, it's crazy, because the way it works is like you get the buy box, right? So if you get a sale on that, and then if you hold the buy box for like, let's say 6 hours, if people buy within those 6 hours, you're getting like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sales all at once for like one item. So it can get pretty crazy. And then the last thing you need is a line of credit or using Payability. So I didn't really explain what Payability is, but quick explanation. All it is they kind of front you the money. So they check your account, they see how much money you got in your Amazon account, and then they'll front you the money for that day, like a percentage of it, and then you got to pay them back, but you got to pay 2% interest basically back on that. But if you don't need to use that, I would just suggest using credit. And to get started, like I said, use a line of credit worth like $5,000 to $10,000. You can sign up for like a Plum card or a Capital One Venture card or a Chase, Chase Sapphire card. Those all give you 2%, and they tend to give pretty good limits. So I would suggest using a card like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, if you guys have any other questions as far as like how much it costs to get started, or if I missed something, just go ahead and comment down below or hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever. So, all right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.